Hey everybody, we're back again to talk a little college football. College football. We are already into week 9 for whatever that means. I don't know exactly what week 9 means. How many weeks are there?
There is
16 weeks. So
past the midway point.
We just finished midway. This is the first weekend of the second half of football, of the college football season. So we're gonna do some predictions for week 9. But before we do that, we always have to recap.
Yes.
So we're gonna recap some week 8 games. Again, we're just gonna cover the top 15 games, the top 15 ranked teams playing. Because everybody's playing now.
The Big Ten debut.
The Big Ten debut. I don't know how long that's going to last, but the Big Ten debuted this week. So,
its debut on Friday was a absolute beatdown.
Yeah, Wisconsin. Man, that quarterback. We'll go ahead and jump to that. Illinois went to Wisconsin, and Wisconsin won 45-7. That quarterback for Wisconsin looks like the real deal, don't he? He was actually
good quarterback for Wisconsin, Dad.
Yeah, I mean, they don't have a lot of good quarterbacks there. I mean, they had Wilson, but he was just a senior transfer from NC State. So
and look what he turned into, though.
Yeah, he's probably the MVP of the NFL this year, so he turned out pretty good. Yeah. But this is a young quarterback. This was his first, but he did look pretty good. And of course, Wisconsin's always going to have a strong offensive line, a strong defensive line, and a pretty good running game. They just don't have quarterbacks that often. But this guy looks pretty good. So Wisconsin may go somewhere if COVID doesn't kill the season.
Short note, Wisconsin's quarterback did test positive for COVID, and their backup.
So he's a star for one weekend.
So yeah, that's very unfortunate.
But we'll talk about that when we get into week 10. Into week 9. We'll just recap. We'll quickly run by Alabama beat the crap out of Tennessee, just like we figured,
but by a cost.
Yes,
Jalen
Waddle did
on
tear.
On the opening kickoff, he tore his Achilles.
His ACL. Did he tore his Achilles? And
I think he broke his ankle.
Ow. Yeah,
I hate ankle injuries.
Waddle,
I experienced my fair share.
Waddle's the fastest player on that team too, wasn't he? So they lost their fastest receiver option guy.
But that's not going to mean too terribly much because they got a lot of wide receiver depth with Mechie and Devontae.
Alabama
Smith.
will just stick another 5-star back in that spot, and it'll go, wow, where'd this guy come from? That's just Nick Saban, their stallion in the stable back there for Nick Saban.
Superiority between one of two football teams, honestly.
Yeah. We picked, I think I was actually joking guessing Alabama would win 52-10. It was 48-17, so I wasn't too bad off there. And another big beatdown. Syracuse went to number 1 Clemson.
Was tight in the third quarter, but Clemson pulled away.
47-21. So Clemson again is flexing.
We'll talk about Clemson and big news in the upcoming week.
I still think Clemson is the number 1 team in the country as far as talent goes right now. I think they're better than Alabama. Number 5, Ohio State hosted Nebraska.
And pretty much showed you exactly why Ohio State basically has an easy schedule.
And Nebraska
trample through their schedule.
Nebraska's not a good team. And Nebraska's the Tennessee of the Big Ten right now.
Has historic implications with their football program, but just can't get it right.
Can't do anything right now. Yeah, so that was a pretty easy pick. We had NC State at North Carolina. We picked North Carolina, but North Carolina dominated that game pretty good. There was
in-state dominance, nothing like it, huh?
No, 48-21 on that one there. So I was a little bit of a surprise. North Carolina has struggled a little bit on offense, but they pulled it together here. 48-21. We had Kansas at K-State beat down.
Kansas State had 2 punt returns for touchdowns in this game.
Well, Kansas is number 20, so we shouldn't be covering them. But I guess we can go ahead and just cover the 25. Just run through them quickly. We'll just run through them quickly because the games are going to be cut down again. It looks like, so we'll just keep on talking about them all. We had Kansas State looked good. Kansas didn't. Kansas is a basketball school.
They are only a basketball school, and they get a lot of respect from me as a basketball school.
Yes. One of these days, Kansas might be good because they do have Les Miles as a coach now.
It's going to take a while.
And it's going to take a while because it's just not.
It's a bad situation in Kansas.
Georgia Southern at Coastal Carolina. The Chanticleers.
What are they? Are they
Chickens.
supposed to be? They're chickens?
They're chickens. A Chanticleer is a prize chicken. They're a prize chicken.
Well, they're playing like prize chickens.
Yeah. They're ranked 25 and beat Georgia Southern 28-14. So doing pretty good.
Personal thought: we actually did on a beach trip a while ago. We did pass by their campus one year.
Yeah, and I think I've actually got a friend who went there. So go Chanticleer.
Check the clear.
We had FAU at Marshall. Marshall's having their best season in a long time
In
too.
a long time, the herd are they're trampling along.
Yes, in their nice green colors. Marshall beat FAU 20-9. In the nail biter, we had Iowa State at Okie State. Okie State looked good, really good starting out, but then it all got sort of even there.
Yeah, and Oklahoma State pulled out the close victory.
24-21.
The Cowboys are
Okie
stuck
State.
inside the top 10.
The only hope, well, one of two only hopes for the Big 12 is Okie
Cowboys,
State.
you're my only hope.
Help us, Oklahoma State. You're our only hope. That was a pretty good one. Penn State at Indiana.
What an asshole. Big game, James.
Big game, James does
Not
it
even
again.
one game in, and we get a meme already.
How do you lose to a basketball team when you're in a top 10? Indiana's not a bad football team, but they're a basketball school. They are Kansas, and yeah,
My goodness.
You gave up
overtime.
36 points.
In overtime, overtime loss.
That was very smart though. Indiana got the ball second in overtime, went for two right off the bat, closed the door. W. I ain't even going to give you a chance to go to another order. We either win it now or we lose it now.
Yeah, that's
I like that.
Indiana
I like that.
Indiana got rewarded
They did
with
get
a
rewarded,
17th ranking in the next week.
which is going to be fun to see because I don't know if they're really ranked 17th or not because they're a basketball school. But we'll see.
This is big game, James.
And this is a big game, James. We had number 19, Vautech at Wake Forest. No longer number 19 because Wake Forest woke them up. 23-16.
Wake Forest woke from its sleep.
Yeah. Speaking of waking from a sleep, number 3, Notre Dame, 45
Speaking
to
of
3.
offenses waking up.
Yeah, Notre Dame
guacamole.
had not looked that good up until this point.
But 45.
45 on one of your rivals, that'll wake you up a little bit.
You know what was a little scary though? Notre
that?
Dame at one point was up 28-3 at halftime.
Oh, the dreaded Georgia score. Yeah, you never want to be up 28-3.
But Notre Dame did something a functional team can do.
They put up 17 more and won the game. 45-3.
So the Irish are back on track. The Clemson matchup is going to loom large.
And this is one team here. This next matchup that's going to be nice too. Michigan at Minnesota. Michigan's maybe a little bit better than what I thought.
Although this is bigger game Jim, we may never know what bigger game Jim Harbaugh does.
No, it started. I thought Minnesota was going to take him to start out, but then Michigan started clicking and they put up 49 on him. So 49-24 over Minnesota. It's actually pretty good because Minnesota was ranked 21 coming out of the bat. And then we had Virginia at Miami. Miami squeaked another one by 19.
They need to play better.
To 14.
They need to play more
They
consistently.
need to play more consistent. With a little more power, a little more umph. You know,
a little more oomph, a little more pizzazz, a little more.
Whenever Clemson plays Miami, it's going to be 52-10. I just
already
don't
played
know.
Miami.
Oh yeah, they did play Miami. What was the score of that one?
42 points.
Okay, that's what I thought. 52-10. I had that in my mind somewhere, so I had the 42 points in there somewhere. So yeah, they're just. I don't know if they're ranked number 11 in the country, and I think that'll come to play later on. We had number 9 Cincinnati at SMU.
Cincinnati pretty much flexed for most of the game.
They came back online. Cincinnati was struggling a little bit too, and I was starting to worry a little bit about them.
Came alive and got interceptions and forced some.
Shut them down to 13.
Down,
shut them down to 13 points.
Downs.
Yep. And then the Cincinnati offense scored 42, so that always helps stuff. Last but not least, we had Texas State BYU. BYU put up 52 on them.
Speaking of looking like a actual top 15 team,
Yeah,
BYU's offense looks pretty dynamic.
they do look pretty dynamic. Now let's go ahead and jump into week 19. Week 19. Week 9. I don't know week 19. Week 9. And go ahead. I guess the first game that was supposed to be in this week was number 19, Marshall. That's probably, but it was postponed because Florida International FAU had a little COVID outbreak.
Which is unfortunate.
Yeah, because that honestly, that game probably will not be made up. This one will probably not be made up because their bye weeks do not line up. So this probably was a game that's not going to happen. Marshall, I think, would have handled it pretty easy. But we'll jump on out. Jumping into the Saturday games, we got Boston College at Clemson. There's your big news.
Trevor Lawrence got
tested
the COVID.
positive, so he will not be starting this game.
So Clemson's backup will start.
And of course, they're playing Boston College, so I don't think that really matters. I think they could probably take the hot dog vendor out and throw him in there as quarterback, and they could probably beat Boston College with him. It's still going to be like a 20 to 25 point beatdown with the hot dog vendor as quarterback. So
Dabo Sweet throws up the hot dog vendor.
yeah, he's going to throw out the hot dog vendor and win easily. Now, Boston College is not that bad, but they're not good enough to hang with the likes of Clemson. We got Georgia at Kentucky.
Georgia is going to handle Kentucky pretty easily.
I think it'll be a 20-point game, yeah.
After getting smacked around by Alabama the last time they played, this has to be a bounce
They'll
back.
have a bounce back game, yeah. So I definitely take Georgia in that one. We got Memphis at Cincinnati. That'll be pretty. That's a sort of a rival game.
That could be a trap game
I think
for
that's a
Cincy.
trap game. Cincy is favored by 6.5. They should win by that 6.5, but that is a trap game. So I would not be surprised if it's closer. But Cincy, I think it's already had 2 or 3 really close games, and last week they bounced back and put up 40+ points. So I think I'll take Cincy minus that 6.5. They should
Fun
pull
fact,
it.
Cincinnati is the only team in the nation where multiple cornerbacks have multiple interceptions.
So the back end of the defense is playing pretty good, is what you're saying.
Yep, that's the best part for the Bearcats this year.
Awesome. Let's talk about the Michigan State-Michigan game. Michigan's ranked number 13. Michigan State
Is rebuilding.
is rebuilding, so Michigan's going to win that one pretty easy, yes. Probably by 20+ points. We got K-State at West Virginia. That's going to be a tough one, I think.
Might be a trap.
West Virginia is actually favored by 4.5, so they're saying West Virginia is a better team than Kansas State, but Kansas State is ranked at number 16, and West Virginia is not. So it makes you wonder, what? How can a ranked team
that lackluster?
I mean, do you think K-State or do you think West Virginia?
Do you want to pick that upset, or do you want to pick with the Wildcats? I might pick with K-State here.
I'd probably stay with K-State, too. You got plus 4.5. So even if West Virginia wins 34-31, you're still a winner on the other side of it. So we'll go ahead and take that. We got Coastal Carolina at Georgia State. Again, I think that's another
clear victory.
I think that's a Chanticleer victory. We got Iowa State at Kansas.
Iowa State.
This is a basketball again. This is football.
But basketball is more of Iowa State's flavor, but they have a decent football team this time.
They've got a decent. Yeah, they're actually ranked number 23. We got Notre Dame, who dropped to number 4, even though they put up 45.
Pretty wishy-washy.
It's wishy-washy, but they are at Georgia Tech. Notre Dame by 20.
The Irish
Plus.
are going to shamrock dance all over Georgia Tech.
Yeah, they seemed to find their offense last week, so I think that's what's going to happen. We got Indiana, who is ranked number 17 now, at Rutgers.
Wow.
And Rutgers got a win, but they're going to lose this time.
This is Rutgers we're talking about, the team that's been absolutely incompetent over the past several seasons.
And this is Indiana, a basketball school, but I still think Indiana, if they're feeling good enough about their team right now, hopefully they're not on too much of a high and come in flat. But I think I'm going to pick me a little Indiana in that one. We got Wisconsin, Nebraska. This one has been canceled.
Because of the COVID.
COVID got into the Wisconsin
quarterback room,
and they have no quarterbacks. At least,
unless they can sub in their running back.
And they're not really, like Kentucky does every year and wins. But, yeah, they have shut down their operations for a short period of time. So hopefully that should be able to be rescheduled since it's a conference game. They should be able to move some stuff around like the SEC did, hopefully.
And hopefully if they have proper management.
We got the unranked Texas.
Oh my God.
Unranked Texas.
That should already send shivers down the Longhorn spine.
At number 6, Oklahoma State. Help me, Oklahoma State. If Texas wins this, man, the Big 12 may not make the playoffs.
Well, this is a predicament, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
You
Oklahoma
never know how
State's favored by
Texas is going.
3.
You never
It's
know
a
that
pick'em game.
This is a pick'em game.
Mm-hmm.
Oklahoma State hasn't looked that outstanding on offense this year.
No. And Texas has been sort of average, so I don't.
You don't really know about that game. It could be a pick'em.
It's a
Who do you pick?
it's a pick'em. I'm almost wanting the chaos of Texas winning.
But you gotta put some order in fashion.
Yes. Chaos. Oh, the Big 12 just goes. I like seeing that sometimes, but I don't. I'm probably going to stick with Okie State because Texas has been inconsistent and Okie State has found ways to win. So I lean toward Okie State, even though it wouldn't break my
Nothing
heart if
hurts
Texas
me
won.
a little more than seeing a talented team play so inconsistently.
Yeah, like our. See, never mind. We got Boise State number 25 at Air Force. Boise State's second game. Air Force is third.
The men in the air versus the Smurfs.
Yeah, I think the Smurfs are probably going to win this one.
The Broncos Smurfs, or what do we call them? The Smurf Turf?
The Smurf Turf Cowboys.
One of the most unique fields in all of college football. It stands out only because of that vibrant
that blue turf. Yeah, everybody knows the blue turf. We got Mississippi State at Alabama. Oh, 30-point game.
That's going to be a 30-point blowout. Mississippi State's offense looks pretty bad, and Alabama's offense still looks pretty good, even without Jalen Waddle.
Yeah, I think Alabama will. Yeah, I'd take them minus
Blowout
30 and a half.
City,
Yeah.
USA.
We got number 3, Ohio State at the fallen Penn State.
Big game James.
Loses 2 in a row to start out the season and drops out of the top 25. Because Ohio State's going to win this game.
Pretty easily, honestly.
Yeah. The line's 10.5
Ryan
points.
is
I
going
would
to have
probably
a good
take
day
that.
with Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
That's a pretty cringy joke.
Yeah. We got Arkansas at Texas A&M. Man, the line is 14 points on that. I'm honestly probably going to take Arkansas plus 14.
You're taking Arkansas plus 14?
I don't think Arkansas is going to win the game, but
they're pesky.
I think it's a 10-point game
Well,
at,
Pig City,
at
you know,
most.
that's what they say down there.
31-21, 31.
I feel like Texas A&M
31
hasn't really shown.
I mean, that's like a 31-17 game.
Texas A&M's been decent this year.
Arkansas's defense.
Arkansas's defense has played above expectations.
I'm thinking like a 27-17 game at most. I'm thinking a 10-point game at most. Could be wrong on it, but that's what I got feeling there. Missouri, Florida.
Coming off all those COVID stuff, Florida is going to win that game.
Yeah, they've had 2 weeks to prepare for that, so Florida should win. We got Navy, SMU. SMU should win that one. Navy's not fantastic this year. They lost a lot of their talent last year, so
You want to take the Mustangs?
I think SMU. We got North Carolina, Virginia,
North
Carolina.
The Tar Heels.
I think that'll be pretty easy too.
Thinking that they were just a basketball school.
The line's only 7 points. Man, North Carolina should beat them by more than 7. Virginia's a 1-win team.
Yeah, Virginia's not very good this year. They are in basketball.
Yep.
I'm sensing a theme here.
Yes. We got Oklahoma at Texas Tech.
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma should win that one. Yeah, Texas Tech.
Surely.
Texas Tech is struggling a little bit this year.
Surely
Yeah.
Lincoln Riley will win that game.
Hey, Oklahoma's back up to number 24. At least they do have a ranked team there. And then last but not least, we got BYU again, Western Kentucky. At BYU, Western Kentucky is not good this year.
BYU
That will be
is-
another 30-point game.
Yeah, that's a pretty easy BYU by 30.
That's a
Go ahead
pretty
and take that.
Just go ahead and pick that one. Yeah, and that's it. That is college football for this week 9. Week 9 picks. Week 8 recap.
Send us a like.
Yeah, hit a like.
Send us a thought down below of what you think is going to happen
Yeah.
in this week in college football.
Let us know what do you think some of the best picks are this week. We should do our picks of the week sometime too.
I'm going to give my lock of the week.
Oh,
Alabama.
what's your lock? Alabama over Mississippi? Yeah, they'll beat them by more than 30 points. That's actually pretty good there. North Carolina, Virginia, only 7 points. I think that's a pretty good one too. I think North Carolina will win by double digits. But anyways, leave us some comments below. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the groovy baby.
somewhere on my
Button
face.
over there somewhere. Other than that, we'll see you next week for some more football.
See you next week.